Hi, welcome back if you came here from one of my previous videos. Today I want to do a quick review of the Kwikflight Hunter. It is an add-on for Flight Simulator. You can purchase it from the Flight Simulator store that is embedded in the game. Because it costs money, I think most people would be interested to find out what exactly do you get for that money. Now, it is very simple. It only has one variant, so you don't get any choices for that. As far as the paint job goes, you have a number of options. British Army, Desert Camo, Indian Air Force, 6th Cav, Air Cav, or Reserve. Let's go ahead and pick the British Army and let them fly around a little bit. Besides that, there is not much else to configure. So with that said, we can go ahead and pick it, and let's take off at the Grand Canyon so we can kind of see how it flies. We'll set our flight conditions to current. We are in the helicopter parking, so we should be good to go. Now, for those of you that are new here, a quick reminder that the only hardware that I use to fly is a Velocity 1 flight stick from Turtle Beach and a SciTac Quadrant, which controls throttle, RPMs, and mixture. Those are the only things I use. For example, a rudder would probably be very helpful, but the reality of it is you could fly this with a controller if you wanted to. It looks like we're loaded in. So let's start by taking a look around the outside. I think the skin looks fantastic. The detail is, I'd say, immaculate. Now I will say, it looks like the only thing you can open here is you can open the door. However, let's stay on the outside for a minute. Just so you can get a good view of what the entire model looks like. I think it looks very cool. Alright, we can go ahead and get in. And from here, let's start by closing. Well, we can leave it open and start the engines first. And you can hear the difference in sound dampening, which is kind of cool. Perfect. I think the interior looks really cool. I think it's pretty accurate. It has everything that I would kind of expect. There's nothing out of place. There's nothing I wouldn't be expecting here. Let's see if we can hide this one and see what buttons they're hiding here. Ah, yes. The most important part, the windshield wiper. It works. Let's set it to high mode. Ooh, that is indeed high. Alright, let's go ahead and shut this one off. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get this thing off the ground. I really like the audio. Here the sound is very good. Go ahead and shut those points of interest off. Let's go ahead and get it off the ground, and we will head towards the Grand Canyon. are off. Let's go ahead and go this way. It is sort of kind of in the direction of the giant canyon. Some would even call it grand.
Altitude low.
It definitely takes some getting used to. Helicopters can be a little bit more jerky than the airplanes. Let's make sure we don't go over speed. But it flies fairly easily. If you have rudders, this would be a much easier exercise. But I don't. And like I said before, if you have a controller, you'll be fine flying this as well. We're at about 60% throttle at this point. Helicopters respond pretty aggressively to throttle changes. If you set it from here to 100, it'll have like a jerky moment like this. I'm pushing my stick fully forward. And if we go back to 60, we can just get it back towards where we're going. And it looks like the canyon is right there in front of us. It is a very pretty model. If you like flying helicopters, if you like flying especially the military helicopters, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And it flies straight.
Altitude low.
Imagine that. I feel like that's the absolute basis, right? From here on out, it looks like we're at the edge of the canyon. That's a long way down, it looks like. So let's go ahead and see what's down there. It's going to yell at me that I'm going over speed.
Altitude low.
And it's going to yell at me about my altitude.
Altitude low.
But boy, it sure flies real nice.
Altitude low.
Looks like there may be some more canyon down here.
Altitude low. Altitude low.
Now, if I remember correctly, along the north rim there is a hotel, so let's see if we can head that way. I'm trying to be as gentle with the throttle as possible. It definitely responds aggressively. I would expect it to do that. But it flies really well. It flies very easily. And also, look at those pretty surroundings. Let's look at our EFB. Of course, this is a Microsoft-owned thing, but why the EFB wouldn't reset itself to the flight planner is... Whoop, we almost crashed. It's beyond me, but it just doesn't. It would make a lot of sense for it to do that, though. And we didn't crash. If you're heavily into women telling you that your altitude is low, I highly recommend that you buy this and fly as low as you can,
Altitude low.
because you will be reminded every 5 seconds that your altitude is indeed low. Is that not the whole fun of flying low? Honestly, this flies very easily. Oh, I think it's up there on our left-hand side. If I remember, the lodge at the north rim is across this ridge, on the ridge across from it that is nice and green. Let's go ahead and just go over this instead of through it. It is very responsive. Most of the jerky movement is either me ham-fisting the throttle or jerking the joystick a little too much. Setting the responsiveness of both of those a little bit lower probably would do a lot of good. But they work for airplanes as it stands. Let's see if we can get to the top here. And there it is. We found the lodge. How nice. Yeah, it definitely has a fairly aggressive response, but that seems lifelike to me. Overall,
Altitude low.
I think this is a very nice helicopter, and I feel like I'm going to really enjoy it. I think it's worth the money. There's really no criticism I have of this one. So with that said, if you like military helicopters, if you like helicopter flying in general in Flight Sim, this one looks like it would be a pretty good investment. Alright, well thank you all for watching, and I will be sure to create some more reviews in the near future of other planes that I've bought from the store, and kind of give an impression of how those stack up. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.